Welcome. This is the complete reading of the Texas Instruments Q4 2025 and 2025 financial results and shareholder returns report released on January 27, 2026. Conference call details are available at ti.com IR. Dallas, January 27, 2026. Texas Instruments Incorporated, TI, today reported fourth quarter revenue of $4.42 billion, net income of $1.16 billion, and earnings per share of $1.27. Earnings per share included a 6-cent reduction that was not in the company's original guidance. Regarding the company's performance and returns to shareholders, Haviv Ilan, TI's chairman, president, and CEO, made the following comments. Revenue decreased 7% sequentially and increased 10% from the same quarter a year ago. Our cash flow from operations of $7.2 billion for the trailing 12 months again underscored the strength of our business model, the quality of our product portfolio, and the benefit of 300mm production. Free cash flow for the same period was $2.9 billion. Over the past 12 months, we invested $3.9 billion in R&D and SG&A, invested $4.6 billion in capital expenditures, and returned $6.5 billion to owners. TI's first quarter outlook is for revenue in the range of $432 billion to $468 billion and earnings per share between $1.22 and $1.48. Earnings summary in millions except per share amounts for Q4 2025 versus Q4 2024. Revenue $4,423 million versus $4,007 million, a 10% increase. Operating profit $1,473 million versus $1,377 million, a 7% increase. Net income $163 million versus $1,205 million, a 3% decrease. Earnings per share $1.27 versus $1.30, a 2% decrease. Cash generation trailing 12 months. Cash flow from operations $7,153 million versus $6,318 million, up 13%. Free cash flow $2,938 million versus $1,498 million, up 96%. Free cash flow percentage of revenue 16.6% versus 9.6%. Cash return trailing 12 months. Dividends paid $4,999 million versus $4,195 million, up 4%. Stock repurchases $1,477 million versus $929 million, up 59%. Total cash returned $6,476 million versus $5,624 million, up 13%. Consolidated statements of income for 3 months ended December 31st, 2025. Cost of revenue was $1,251 million. Gross profit was $12,472 million. R&D expenses were $521 million. SG&A expenses were $446 million. Restructuring charges were $32 million. Operating profit was $1,473 million. Consolidated balance sheets as of December 31st, 2025. Total assets were $34,585 million. Cash and cash equivalents stood at $3,225 million. Total liabilities were $18,312 million. Total stockholders' equity was $16,273 million. Consolidated statements of cash flows. Net income was $1,163 million. Adjustments include depreciation of $537 million. Cash flows from operating activities were $2,254 million. Cash flows used in investing activities were $676 million, including capital expenditures of $925 million. Quarterly segment results. Analog revenue, $3,615 million, up 14%. Operating profit, $1,395 million, up 13%. Embedded processing revenue, $662 million, up 8%. Operating profit, $71 million, up 22%. Other revenue, $146 million, down 34%. Operating profit, $7 million, down 91%. Non-GAAP financial information. This release includes references to free cash flow. We believe that free cash flow and the associated ratios provide insight into our liquidity, our cash generating capability, and the amount of cash potentially available to return to shareholders. Notice regarding forward-looking statements. This release includes forward-looking statements intended to qualify for the safe harbor from liability. These statements generally can be identified by phrases such as believes, expects, anticipates, foresees, forecasts, estimates, or other words of similar import. All such statements are subject to certain risks and uncertainties. Important factors that could cause actual results to differ materially include economic, social, and political conditions, market demand for semiconductors, our ability to compete, evolving cybersecurity threats, and our ability to recruit and retain skilled personnel. This concludes the full reading of the Texas Instruments Q4 2025 financial report. Thank you for listening.